Hello, folks. This is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on July 13th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game, Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 7, 9, 26, 44, and 68. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 7 was blue, the 9 was green, the 26 was orange, the 44 was blue, and the 68 was blue. So I'm going to color those in. So again, the 7, 44, and 68 were blue. The 9 was green. And the 26 was orange. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. I have 3 blue, 1 orange, 1 green for 3 colors total. Okay, so up here I'm going to make this 348 color code drawings I kept track of so far. Okay, and now a 3 color combination has now come up 188 times. Okay, so I want you to do some quick math and divide 188 into 348. Okay, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so my color code is right here. These are the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left over is purple. So basically what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 different colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? And that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color, okay? So again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers, okay? And that's the last 3 drawings of numbers. And the reason why that is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers, okay? So I'll start in with the 7, the 9, the 26, the 44, and the 68. And then the next line down is the 4, the 8, the 23, the 46, and the 65. And then the last line is the 40, the 43, the 45, the 50, and the 61. So again, I'm going to make these red numbers. And now I'm going to count how many numbers I have. Okay, so I have 5 and 4 is 9, 1 is 10, 3 is 13, and 2 is 15. So up here, I'm going to leave this alone at 15. So this tells me how many colors I have on the game card. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the orange area. And I'm going to start with the 13, the 17, the 13, the 17, the 24, the 59, and the 62. Next line down is the 1, the 5, the 16, the 22, and the 54. And the next line down is the 3, the 6, the 11, the 14, and the 66. And then the 4, you can see that's already taken, okay? And then the 18, 21, 26, you can see that's taken, and the 38. So I'm going to make these orange, and now I'm going to count how many they are here. Okay, so I got 5, and 1 is 6, 3 is 9, and 9 is 18. So I'm going to make this 18 numbers up here. Okay, so I think you understand of how I do things here. So what I'm going to do, just to speed things up, is I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is the game card for July 13th, 2019. Okay, so you can see that I had 15 red, 18 orange, turned out to be 11 green, 15 blue, and 10 purple numbers. Okay, so again, more than half the time, a three-color combination comes up. Okay, so that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up, and that's what I want to focus on here. So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and the strategy is here, is to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so you can see that all 5 colors do come up. Okay, but it's very rare. It's come up 12 times out of 348 drawings. Okay, so the thing about my game here is that we're all going to look at this differently. So we're all going to come up with a different result, okay? But for me, I'm going to go with no blue numbers, okay? And the reason why is because a blue number has come up in the last 4 drawings, and this last drawing had 3 of them in there, okay? So my prediction is that no blue numbers are going to come up. So I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers by blocking them out off of the game card. Okay, so when I block out a number like this 33 and 41 here, this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play, okay? So in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these blue numbers will come up in the next drawing, okay? So if I'm correct with my bet and none of these blue numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and divided them into 7 different groups. Okay, so this is group number 1. It holds the numbers of 1 through 9. This is the only one with 9 numbers where the others have 10. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this here so you can see that the 7 and 9 are right here. Okay, so I'm going to find the 7. I'm going to make this blue. And then I find the 9, and I'm going to make this green. Okay, so you can see that that this big square right here, this is good for 5 drawings, okay? And the reason why I like to break it down into 5 is for a couple reasons, okay? When I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on, okay? But my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings here, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings or vice versa, okay? So one last thing that I like to do is I like to see how many groups it hit, okay? So the 7 and 9 are in one group, the 26 is in another, the 44 is in another, the 68 is in another. So it hit 4 groups, okay? So I like to try to predict how many groups it's going to hit, okay? So you can see a 4 and a 3, they come up the most, okay? A 5 comes up every now and again, and a 2 will come up like every once in a blue moon, okay? I've never seen a 1 before, okay? But what I'm thinking is that since a 5 hasn't come up in a while, I'm thinking that this is going to be a 5, so I'm expecting the winning Powerball numbers to hit 5 out of these 7 groups, okay? So let me reduce this down so you can see the whole card. Okay, so again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers, okay? So again, there's 7 groups here, and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it, okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with no 40 numbers. Okay, so I'm gonna eliminate these 40 numbers off of my game card. Okay, so the reason why I'm going with this, and again, we're all gonna look at this differently. Okay, lots of people might go with this one over here, 1 through 9. Okay, but the thing is that as I notice going back into the history of things, there's usually like the average is like four hits to one of these groupings of 5 drawings here. Okay, 3 or 4. Okay, sometimes there's more, of course. Okay, but since I'm already at 5 right here in the 40s, I'm gonna say that no 40 numbers are gonna come up. Okay, so again, I'm gonna eliminate the 40 numbers off of my game card. So as I go back to the my game card, I'm going to find the 40 numbers. Okay, I start with the 40. So I'll get rid of these. Hopefully these 40 numbers don't come up. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of this and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so how this works is I'm going to make this 393 drawings I kept track of so far. Okay, and basically this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball Lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go to the game card, and I'm going to see what came up. So odd, odd, even, even, even. So 3 evens and 2 odds. So the majority was even numbers. Okay, so now I'm going to make this 191. Okay, so out of 393 drawings, 191 drawings have come up the majority of even numbers, and 202 drawings have come up the majority of odd numbers. Okay, so here I like to break things down into 5. Okay, and that's so it shows me that majority again. Okay, so this last 5 drawings right here, the majority was even numbers, 4 drawings to 1. Okay, and as I go down through here, you can see that this had a huge run of odds here. Okay, then evens, odds, odds, evens, odds. Okay, so now I'm thinking that this is gonna probably be evens is what I'm thinking. I think it's gonna go a run on evens, but for this drawing here, I'm gonna guess that it goes back to odds. Okay, so I'm thinking that there's going to be more odd numbers than even numbers. So I'm going to write that down just to remind me what I picked. Okay, so I'm going to go with odd numbers here. Okay, and as I come back here, moving on to the next one, this is high and low. All the numbers in red are considered high. All the ones in blue are considered low. And that's including the 65, 66, and 67. So when those numbers come up, I record them as low numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that this stays to the low side here. Okay, I just have a feeling that it's going to stay low, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well, just to remind myself what I picked. Okay, and then moving on, I have left and right here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that more numbers are going to be to the left side. Okay, so I think at least 3 numbers will be over here. So I'm going to write that down as well. Okay, so last one, I have this red and blue area here. And I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this one alone. Okay, I don't have to pick at all of them. So I'm just going to leave this one alone. So one last thing I have in here is I do have something for the red ball, the Powerball number, okay? So there's 26 red ball numbers, all right? So if you're looking at this column here, basically I just divided the numbers in two. So if you see a blue number, that means it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26, okay? And over in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue number, that means it's evens, okay? So the reason why I do that is now I just look at the colors, okay? So looking at this, my gut feeling is that this is going to stay blue, okay? So I'm thinking it's going to be a low number, okay? And over here, you can see how sparse the red is. So I think that this red is going to go one more. So I think it's going to be a low odd number, okay? So instead of looking at all 26 numbers, now I'm just looking at the low odd numbers, which is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. Okay, so I'm just going to concentrate on those numbers instead of all 26. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all the numbers and divided it into 4 different groups and put colors to these groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. And again, it was 7, 9, 26, 44, and 68. Okay, so the 7's in the blue area. The 9 is in the red. The 44, well, the 26. Okay, so the 26 in the red, the 44 is in the orange, and the 68 is in the orange. Okay, so let me put those in. So I got 2 in the red, the 9 in the 26, 1 in the blue, that's 7. 2 in the orange, the 44 and 68, and no winning Powerball numbers in the green area, okay? So when there's a 0 here, I color the background blue for cold, and if there's a hit, I color the background red for hot. Okay, so again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers, okay? So the strategy here with group 1 is try to correctly guess where the 0 is going to pop up. If I could have correctly guessed that none of these numbers are going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these green numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball Lottery. Okay, so when the 0 pops up, I record this. I add this here, so now it's 98. And this tells me how many zeros I have in this column. Okay, so when one gets way behind, like this 87 over here, I'm going to be looking at that, and maybe I'll pick this group of numbers not to come up, okay? But what I'm going to do is, I just want to tell you that I have 15 of these option cards, okay? So this is option card number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, okay? Now, I use all the same colors as red, blue, orange, and green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card, okay? Now, the reason why I used all the same colors is so I can keep track of all the blue numbers, all the orange for all 15 option cards, okay? And I call that the Group 2 overview, okay? So here, I want to go over that. I'm going to concentrate on the green areas here, okay? This tells me that there was 5 zeros within all 15 option cards. Okay, so here's option card number 1. You can see the 0. Okay. Here's option card number 4. You can see another 0 in the green area. Okay, so here's another 0 within the green area, option card 11, 13, and 15, okay? This is how many option cards I have is 15, okay? So again, you can see where this this 5 came from, okay? So if there's 4 or less zeros among all 15 option cards, I color the background red for hot, okay? If there's 5 or more zeros, then I color the background blue for cold, okay? So the object is try to correctly guess where the blue mark is going to come up, okay? Because that means that a third of these option cards will have a 0 to it. So I think it's going to be here in the blue area, okay? I think that this mark is going to be blue, which I'm expecting a lot of zeros within the blue areas here, okay? So I'm going to go with this first one here, okay? You can see the last streak that I had was 31 drawings in a row where one of these blue numbers have come up. And now it's on 2 drawings. So now I think that this is going to be have a 0 right here, okay? So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to eliminate these blue numbers off of my game card. So with this, I'm going to eliminate the 8 as well. Okay, so you can see that I have 5 numbers over here to the left on my game card, and when I go back to group 1, you can see that there's no numbers off here to the left, okay? So basically what I call this sharing the square, okay? So the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25 with the 65, the 58 with the 68, and the 53 with the 69, okay? So if I'm going to get rid of all these blue numbers like I'm doing, I'm going to get rid of the 8 and the 66 among all these other numbers as well. So it's just my way of grouping up numbers, okay? So I'm going to move on. And the next one I'm going to pick is option card number 6, no blue numbers. Okay, so here, the reason why I'm going with this is I just think that this 0 is going to double up right here. Okay, so I think the 0 will be right here. Okay, so again, I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers, the 2, 4, 6, and 66. So hopefully none of these numbers come up. Okay. And then moving on, my next pick is going to be option card number 10, no blue numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this, you can see that this says no 3, and basically what that means is that this blue area hasn't had 3 zeros in a row, like right here, okay? So this happens a lot. Here's another 3, okay? There's another 3, another 3, okay? Again, this blue column has never had 3 zeros in a row here, so I'm going to predict that this 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of all these blue numbers here. So hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, and one last one I'm going to pick is option card number 12, no blue numbers, okay? So here I think that it's going to go 3 in a row again, okay? Like over here. So I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers. Okay, so hopefully none of those numbers come up, okay? So I'm all done picking from group 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1 where I divided things into 4 color groups, here I divided things into 8 color groups. Okay, so it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers. Okay, except for this one, there's 8 color groups, but there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to update this as well. So again, the winning numbers were 9 in the red area, 26 in the blue, let's see what that was. 44 and 68. Okay, so the 7 in the gray, 9 in the red, 26 in the blue, 44 in the green, and 68 in the blue. Okay, so here I use all the same colors as well: red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, and I have 15 of these option cards as well. Okay, so I used all the same colors, so it's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other, from each different option card. Okay, so I'm going to update this option card number 1 here. So again, I'd like to read things from left to right. Okay, so I have 1 red, I got 2 blue, 1 green, and 1 gray. Okay, so as I go down the current here, I got that 1 red, that 9, okay? Then in the blue area, I have 2 of them, the 26 and 68. There is no winning Powerball numbers in the orange area. 1 in the green, that 44. No winning Powerball numbers in the purple area. No winning Powerball numbers in the brown area. That 1, that 7 in the gray. And no winning Powerball numbers in the yellow area, okay? So over here, I put down how many groups it hit. So I got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so since the majority of the numbers are over here to the left side, I color this 4 red. Okay, so this will tell me, you know, if I go back into history and I'm looking at this 4, I know that the majority of the numbers were over here to the left side, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I want to explain why this is red and this is blue, okay? So let me go back up here, okay? So again, I like to break things down into 5 so it shows me a majority, okay? So here, the first 5 drawings, you can see that the majority was zeros or misses, okay? So when that happens, I colored the background blue for cold. The next one down, you can see there was 3 hits, so I colored the background red for hot, okay? So we all know the lottery is random, okay? And this is what random looks like, okay? So when I see something like this, where it's all red like this, really hot, well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So this is why I do things like this, okay? So what I'm looking for is I'm looking to see where the 0 is going to be here, okay? But more or less, when this happens on the next drawing, I'll be coloring this yellow because there's 2 zeros and 2 hits, okay? So that's really going to stand out to me here, okay? So I'm going to predict which one is going to be yellow, okay? So my first guess here is that over here, I think the 0 is going to be here in the yellow area, okay? So I'm going to eliminate these yellow numbers off of my game card, the 66 down to the 64. Okay, so you can see that there's nothing here, okay? So there's nothing to get rid of, okay? Now as I come back here, I have an overview of this group 2 as well, okay? So let me go to that. So this is the overview of group 2, okay? So the last drawing, again, I have 15 of these option cards, okay? I have 8 color groups to choose from, okay? So 8 times 15 equals 120, okay? So out of the 120 picks that you could have made, okay, last drawing was 60-60, okay? So 60 had hits to it and 60 had misses to it, okay? For an average of 4, okay? So what I mean by that is that on average for all 15 option cards, 4 of these color groups are going to have a hit to it and 4 of these color groups are going to have a miss to it, okay? So it's kind of like a 50-50 pick right now, okay? So since there was nothing to get rid of in this yellow area, if I come back and I make another pick, like at this red area, okay, the odds of me getting it correct go way, way up, okay? So I designed this to move on to the next option card where I have that 50-50 pick again, okay? So for this one, I am going to go with the red. I think the 0 is going to be right here, so I'm going to get rid of the red numbers. And that's the 1 to the 66. So I'm going to get rid of the 1 and the 3. Hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, so moving on to option card number 3. I'm going to go with no yellow again. So here's the yellow. And again, I think that 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of the yellow numbers. And that's the 7 to the 31 and the 36 to the 60. So I'll get rid of that 52. Hopefully that number doesn't come up. Okay, off to the option card number 4. I'm going to go with no purple. So I think that 0 is going to be right here. Okay. And I'm going to get rid of the 1 through the 4 and the 37 to the 40. Which you can see that there's no numbers here to get rid of. Okay, so moving on to option card number 5. I'm going to go with no yellow again. So here's the yellow. Again, I think the 0 will be right here. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of all these yellows. And I think the only one left is that 55. So I'll get rid of that. Okay, so moving on to number 6. I am going to go with brown. So here's the brown. I think the 0 will be right here. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of these brown numbers. And I know that nothing's there. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Option card 7. And I'm going to go with blue. So again, I think the 0 will be right here. So that's a 33, 42, 35, 44 all the way across. So I'll get rid of that 35. Hopefully that number doesn't come up. Moving on to 8. I'm going to go with orange. So here's the orange numbers. Again, I think the 0 will be right here. Okay. So I'm going to go with, I know that none of these numbers are here on the game card, so I'll move on to number 9. And that's orange again. So here's the orange. Again, I think that 0 will be right here. Okay. So that's the 326 and 1423. I'm just going to concentrate over here, the 326, 35, 68. So the 58 shares the square with that 68, so I'm going to get rid of that as well. Okay, so moving on, option card number 10. I'm going to go with yellow again, so here's the yellow. Again, I think that 0 will be right here. So I'm going to get rid of the 52, 57. And 20 and the 65. That's 2 more numbers off the game card. Okay, so moving on to 11. I'm going to go with red. So here's the red. Again, I think that 0 will be right here. So I'm going to get rid of the 35, 43, 17, 65. So the only one left is that 17, so I'll get rid of that. Okay, next one is option card 12. I'm going to get rid of the blue. So here's the blue. Again, I think the 0 will be right here. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of the 36 down to the 60. And that takes away that 51. Okay, so you can see that I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got one more number to get rid of. Okay, so moving on to 13. And I'm going to go with yellow again. So here's the yellow. I think that 0 will be right here. And the 1 over to the 4. And that will take away that 11. So hopefully that 11 doesn't come up. Okay. So those are the numbers I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with the 9, 19, 27, 34, 59. Okay, so when I go back to the individual numbers here, you can see that the 9 is in one group, okay? The 19's in another. The 27's in another, okay? The 34's in another, and the 59 is in another, okay? So that will hit that 5 groups what I thought that would happen here, okay? So again, I thought there would be a 5 here. Okay, so let me just highlight these here. So again, the numbers I'm going to go with are the 9, 19, 27, 34, 59. Okay, so I thought there would be more odd numbers than even. More to the low side, which you can see that 19 shares the square with the 67, okay? And more to the left, you can see that all of them are over here to the left, okay? So we'll see what happens, okay? So what are the odds that I made all the correct picks here? Let me go over the odds for a second. Okay, so the odds of getting all 5 white balls correct and the red ball, okay, the grand prize, that's 1 in 292 million and change, okay? My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct. And what I mean by that is that the game is geared up to pick the white balls, okay? The odds of doing that are 1 in 11,688,000, okay? A nice prize would be 4 white balls and a red ball. That pays 50,000 plus the power play if you play it. The odds of that are just about 1 in a million. Okay, more realistic odds are getting 4 white balls. That pays $100 plus the power play. Okay, 3 white balls pays $7, and if you get the red ball, that pays $4. Okay, so I just want to go over a budget. You can see that the odds are astronomical here. So if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on the lottery. Okay, so in closing, I want to thank you for watching, okay? If you'd like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball, okay? And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.